What's up, guys? Matt. Alf, what's up, dude? Guys, AMC Earnings, the after hours session. Jojo. All right, guys, we about to get deep. We about to get deep, man. All right, I'm gonna talk about earnings and what the potential projections, I guess we'll call them projections, because yeah, there's a lot going on, guys. If you follow me on X, TWE charts, I posted the whole thing about crypto. A lot of what happened back in 2021, both January and May, very similar to the crypto markets right now, except Bitcoin seems to be in a parabolic move to the upside. So it changes things a little bit, but it helps kind of signal out and understand where in the phase you are in with some of these stocks. Like with AMC, obviously, like it seems to be that we are in some form of accumulation, hopefully, right? And it's not distribution. And the crypto markets are clearly ahead. They're trailing up, and they are definitely in a advancing stage. Like if I compare AMC to Bitcoin, like you're going to see kind of an inverse effect happening. So yeah, I kind of want to talk about that, man, going into earnings, because there's a lot to go over for sure, man. A lot to talk about. I won't be streaming the call, but I will be streaming until we get the earning results out. So that'll be for sure. We'll see what happens with the price action. And then we'll do some updates and stuff after the earnings call is over. All right, so let's go here. 15. Okay, so as far as the POI goes as well, guys, we are 2 days outside. So the reason why I am not canceling out the POI yet is because we always give that 2-day window outside the POI. It kind of makes sense. Also, considering some of the days we had off, not only this month but last month as well, that sort of fits into this whole cycle thing, right? If you're counting the market days with that, so giving that 2-day window here for volatility, obviously being that we have earnings coming up and it's inside the POI range, I think that's pretty important to note. So let's pull that up here. I'm going to pull up all the POIs and then also pull up earnings here so we can kind of see which ones have been closely related together. So we can see right here, this is the start of the POI, and then this is earnings right here. So towards the end of the POI, the 26th, and then we have earnings right now after hours. So it's pretty close in that range. The last time we had something like that happen was here in, let's see, it's kind of hard to see everything here with the POIs and the earnings, but I'm going to take out the neutral ones. I just want to see the ones with volatility. Okay. Actually, we need these back. There we go. Okay, so earnings right here is a POI. Here's earnings. So inside, that was the last time we had a POI inside of the earnings, which turned out to be inverse. And that was in August. Okay, and then here we also had in July. Okay, we had a POI and earnings inside the POI. And then this one, I'm going to say no because we had earnings first, and then we had the POI. So it's not as closely related. And then May, right? So May, November, May, and all of these, what they have in common is that earnings actually affects the price in a positive direction. The only one that went inverse was the one in August. So, similar to it here, I'm not going to give you guys a price target or anything like crazy on where I think it's going to go. I'm going to show you guys some reference patterns that I'm still tracking and then show you both scenarios. But one of the must things that needs to happen here, guys, and this is because of all the analysis I've done with reference stocks. So reference stocks that we're tracking like Carvana or whoa, are these guys still sticking? Okay. Reference stocks like Carvana, Nikola, NVAX, all these correlations that we have tracking with these patterns, Mara, Bitcoin, okay, they follow very similar sequence and they have the same POI right here. What that means is that they have the same volatility zone that occurs. But like always, that does not guarantee upside. And one of the things that I was telling the Discord earlier that must need to happen here for the price to turn around, have a bullish trajectory on the macro chart. So exiting out of this, what is still distribution, hopefully entering accumulation, what needs to happen is AMC has to go up, right? Like we have to go up on earnings or at least remain stagnant. That is the best case scenario in this, in this time. Now, the reason why we don't want it to cross down below 350 is if you take a look at a lot of these reference stocks, especially Carvana being the one that is basically tracking the same levels. And I mean, we're talking Carvana fell from 370 down to 350, just like AMC. Okay, you got to track that because if the price turns around here and starts following a inverse direction and crosses below 3, then you're getting into that danger zone and things are not looking good. And I'll be straight up with you guys after that. If that does happen on AMC, it's going to take a long time, in my opinion. It's just going to be a lot riskier to follow a bullish direction from there. That's why it's very important that this does come up after earnings, whatever happens here. So I'll show you guys a few scenarios. All right. Scenario number 1, and obviously I'm bullish, right? Scenario number 1 is that the price fully turns around here and we start climbing towards this resistance trend line. Okay, resistance trend line right now is going to be about $7. So you guys saw what happened with Beyond Meat, right? You saw what happened with Carvana. All these stocks that have been extremely oversold the past few years. Carvana had a head start last year, going into this year already hitting $80, right? So Beyond Meat, same thing. It comes back down, has bad earnings, and then boom, the stock starts to squeeze. So AMC, if it comes up to 7, would be about a 40%, 50% push. Yeah, 40% push. All right. If it retests resistance, we see it trade sideways and hopefully break out. Another scenario is that it just starts to squeeze with everything else, right? Because right now the crypto markets are squeezing. and a lot of stocks are squeezing with option chains. So that's very important to note here. Back in 2021 in January, you didn't just see 1 and 2 stocks squeeze, you saw a bulk of stocks squeeze, and they were overly shorted stocks. So if this is the same case, we're starting to see crypto squeeze, and these stocks starting to squeeze as well. AMC can definitely be in that bulk. So that's scenario number 2, is that it does come up into that 100% range and reaches macro resistance. Now, if we take a look at the patterns that we're tracking, we are tracking Carvana right now. Carvana this is a 1-to-1 pattern. Okay, so it pretty much means that the tracking here is scaled 1-to-1 days. And you can see that when it bounced, this is when it bounced on that 350, 370 range, it did create a little, what we call a little projector pattern, right? And AMC, in this case, if it followed through, it would go all the way up to that $7, $8 range, right? Before reaccumulating again and then hopefully going higher. This would mean that AMC would enter a accumulation phase. If you go back to 2020, okay, there is definitely a lot more price action, a lot more bullish, at least, price action happening over here. It's very choppy, but the price wasn't just descending and, being with this split, with the reverse split that we had, dilution, right, obviously makes the stock very weak. And just these guys are in control right now. They're controlling it. So at some point, though, they do have to release those shorted, shares. And if it triggers that threshold that we talk about with volume in the option chain, open interest, you start to get into that open interest territory, you get that gamma effect, and then that triggers a squeeze. So that is kind of what needs to happen here, is like volume needs to kick in. There needs to be a lot of volume, and we need to start crossing these thresholds. So this is Carvana, all right? The Ethereum classic correlation is something else we're tracking. And that right now is about a month behind, which is the same thing we saw in May. All right, so something else we're tracking. Now, some of this is going to be kind of interesting here, guys. We tracked ARPA. I don't know if you guys remember, but the ARPA sequence is actually the closest sequence we have to AMC that is it's actually incredible how accurate this sequence is, and it was taken from the ARPA premium chart. So whatever must have been happening with these algorithms, they were following the AMC sequence, right? And we started tracking this, I believe, back in June of 2022 or August is when we tracked it. And then from that point on, I mean, it actually did follow through. Like, it came down to the low levels. If you keep narrowing down what we call these POIs, where in this ARPA sequence that we keep seeing here, right, you can see that it's flat. But whenever you get these spikes, those are considered volatility zones. And the reason they're considered volatility zones in this chart is because they are the same on AMC's as well. So all of them tracked to a T. Everything here is, even the levels, everything is tracking. So those are important to track. And you can see there's one right here, right? The price is remaining pretty much flat throughout the entire rest of the sequence. And then there's one right here, which is the POI in October. And then there's one right here, which is the POI right now. Okay, so two things to note on that. Now, here's the Mara pattern as well. The Mara pattern that we were tracking, actually I have to pull this down below. All right, so the Mara pattern, we're using the all-in-one indicator for this. And we found the correlation right here. Let me see. Right here. That's where it is. So this pattern that you're looking at right here is this. right? That is this pattern right here. It's a little bit hard to see it. Let's see if I can zoom in. Sometimes TradingView doesn't allow you to zoom in all the way. These smaller. Okay. Yeah, 104 days from the peak. 100 and that's the peak, 130. 130, 104. 104 would have been right here inside the POI. This peak, is this the peak? Yeah, it should be. So this is actually should be a little bit smaller. 10, 110. There should be like that. Okay, so this one we tracked using this indicator down here, which actually you can actually see everything here. You did 250. Now below one of the indicators, guys, that shows you what charts won't is this indicator right here. The cool thing about it. $10. So remember how with this, what we were tracking is the percentage to which AMC fell within a 250-day period using the same parameters for Mara down here. And you can see it falls down to that 95% range. So it was extremely oversold when looking at the entire market. Now, obviously, it came back up, so it's not oversold anymore. And from the POI, AMC is up almost 50%. So it's green. I mean, it's green, almost 50%. That's really good. Here you can see that Mara falls. Let's see. Guys, I might have taken the wrong pattern. This one only falls to 250. Oh, that's why. You got to make sure you're on the right interval. I was on the hourly. Okay, here we go. There we go. There it is. 90 goes to 92. Okay, 92. And then it spikes all the way back up to negative 37. So pretty much, guys, what this is saying is like 250 days you're scanning for. And the threshold is 0. So every 250 days, this thing will come back into the threshold and measure it based off of that. So it's, if you guys know what the rate of change indicator does, that's what this is. It's measuring velocity so that you can see things a little bit more in depth and normalized, especially if you're looking at stocks with higher price values. So this is really good at that. Now, if we take a look after it reached that negative 92 range right here, it goes from negative 37. From here, it goes from negative 31. Okay, back down. And then it spikes back up. This is where it starts to just go, right? It goes from $1.30 to $3. So it goes up 100%. So if we take a look at where we are in this sequence, because like it's only 110 days, it doesn't have to be exact, but it definitely is tracking. Like it's at 114. If you take a look at the peak here, 114 is right here. It could be slightly tracking a few days behind on that here. It's about 5 days, but this goes up 100% as well. And then after that, I mean, this thing keeps going. That's the thing. I mean, it doesn't stop there. Let's see. It takes some time. But it does keep going all the way up to 4. So it goes from $1.30 to 4 and then back down again. Okay, so about 300%. Okay. All right. So now to the kind of hard part, right? And this is just a thing to consider as well, guys. And obviously, AMC is in a vulnerable position. Like everybody can see that this thing went from all the way down to 350, extremely shorted to these low ranges. Now we've seen stocks do this before, right? Carvana went from 370 down to 370 as well, and then it went all the way up to $80, right, in a matter of basically a year. So, eh, you know, Carvana has an option chain, man. So this is not something that is impossible. And people keep saying like, "Oh, AMC's dead," this, and that. I understand that the price has gone to these depths, right, where it's ugly. But at these low levels, if you take a look at market cycles, this is where things start to normally turn around. And unless, again, fundamentals are just crap and this is just not it, then yes, things do shift the other direction, unfortunately. But that is why I keep pushing, like I'm for AMC going up here and I'm bullish, but we need to start checking things off on the way up, like showing you guys an example with this, right? Where would we have started checking things off for Carvana? We tracked this stock back in the day at these extremely low levels. We're tracking now with AMC. And one of the things that we checked off, right, on the way up is what happens. You establish the bottom, which again here is at 350, same thing as AMC. And then you start climbing up. And this thing climbed up very quickly. It went up to 20 very fast. Okay, after it did that, it came all the way back down to $6. See how it didn't do it right? Like, it didn't just squeeze. It didn't go straight to $80. It went from 3 to 20, back down to 6. Okay, all the way back up to 60, another 10x, back down, and then back up to 80. So slowly, every single time, every single phase becomes there's less profits, obviously, as you're playing the game to the upside. The profits usually happen at the very bottom. That's the highest percentage you're going to get most of the time, and that's pretty much what's happening right now with AMC. Now, again, guys, if this flips, if this comes back down to 350, I'm going to be straight up. But at that point, things start to look very, very sticky, right, with the price action. If it starts to head back down, because this stock has been diluted multiple times, and it also has, like technically right now it is trading at about 50 cents. If you take a look at, post or pre-reverse splits, you have to take that into account, the market cap, all that stuff. I've kind of pushed that out, and I'm here with both scenarios to tell you guys where the price might go depending on the earnings report. So if we take a look at Carvana here, it very quickly went up to that $20 range. The first thing AMC has to do is retest resistance at 7, break it, and then reestablish support, right? That is where the trajectory changes. You can see if you take a trajectory line here on the average of everything, let's say that's a pretty good trajectory line right there. Do with a parallel channel. There we go. Parallel channel trajectory line. That's a pretty good one, I'd say. Okay. So it enters accumulation. This is an entire accumulation phase right here. Now it's exiting accumulation. It's in a reaccumulation phase because it's now breaking out of the highs of accumulation. Just broke out, and it's headed now to this pile of liquidity up here, retesting this pile of liquidity. AMC is not even close to any of that. We don't even know if this is going to start climbing up yet. That's why I'm saying that the price here needs to turn around, even if it goes up to 7 and it comes back down and does something like this, right? That's going to be the first step. That's going to be the first step to this macro reversal. Macro reversal, man. Yeah, expect things to happen on a trailing. They're going to be trailing to the upside. That's important. That's key. If AMC does this, guys, and it does turn around in a similar fashion, again, I'm going to overlay the Carvana sequence on top. It would look something like this, okay? So this is the same thing that you're looking at down here with AMC, right? And with Carvana, it happened very quickly, very fast. It can definitely happen like that with AMC. It could have good earnings. It goes up to 8, back down, okay? And then it starts climbing back up again to 20, back down, similar thing, and then comes all the way back up to its previous, its highs, which actually would be equivalent to something like Carvana here, where you see all this liquidity on AMC would be that $40 range. But even then, guys, I mean, think about it. AMC went from these extreme levels, right, to the, right, where it's trading now, $5 range, 50-cent range. So, you know, going from 50 cents to $4 is not really the craziest thing if you take a look. But again, it becomes an opportunity. If things are going to go up here, it becomes an opportunity. There's other stocks that have also done that. We have Nikola. Right, Nikola did the same thing. If you take a look at, like, ratio-wise, it went from 50 cents to $4, which would be equivalent to AMC going from $5 to 40. Same thing. And with Nikola, look at how fast it happened, man. June to August, it happened in 2 months. Anything is possible. Anything is possible, but just want to be, be extra cautious, because you guys know the stock market is a very risky thing. Very risky just game in general, and you always got to be careful, man. After this whole thing happened in August, it was very unfortunate. But with reverse splits, guys, it's typically a thing that's known for stocks to do something like this, right? And it's just, this is just tracking that. But always, you got to be careful, man, with the markets. You got to be careful with the markets. All right, so that is the bullish outlook here for Amy. You're going to have those clippers saying that I called for like $100 or something, man. These guys that, by the way, for those that know how the cycle works and POIs work, guys, when we have a massive chart that is pointing for upside, remember that is just volatility. And I'm telling the ones that are here that just because it's really important that I keep pushing out that message. A overlay chart. I'm going to overlay one right here for you guys. Do NVAX. A overlay chart for you here. I'm not calling for any of these levels. I'm just pointing out some of the POIs here. Volatility zone, a little volatility zone right there. By the way, this is NVAX. NVAX is known to pump and dump. And this is another sequence that I'm tracking. I want to show you guys the accumulation period for this down here and kind of talk about this because I think it's also important. So following from this was 2018, its break here on redistribution, which is pretty clear. I mean, the price is stagnant, creates a double top, similar to Amy, more of like series of pump and dumps, and then it has that volatility event here, happens very quickly. Now, if we take a look at this down here, this is what I think is crucial to this earnings report that we're about to get. But take a look at this, right? and we can start to kind of space everything out here according to the sequence. Find it. Okay. All right. So a sequence normally starts when a major event occurs. Okay, so this would be considered one sequence right here. As soon as the price just drastically goes from $4 or 40 to $4, that is usually the start of a sequence. You can see it right here on that. So this is where we start to kind of figure out how these little phases work, because if this phase here is incomplete, right? If it's incomplete, you're going to see a inverse effect on a major coming up POI, and this is a way that I can normally tell when the price is going to flip. With AMC right now, we can start to check some things off, right? We start to space out these sections inside this phase. All right, so here's the initial drop. That would be considered the declining phase here. Okay, so that's one section. You can kind of check that off. I'm going to label that red. And then coming up to that here, what we have on the NVAX pattern is a redistribution pattern following this decline stage. And that also happens fairly quickly. It's most people refer to this as like a dead cat setup. So I'm going to label that blue or purple. Yeah, I'll leave that purple right there. So that's checked. To check. We can start canceling some of this stuff out, almost ignore this part of the sequence, right? And then you get towards this like mid phase here, which we call accumulation, or it could be another redistribution pattern, right? If it's inverse and it flips, that means the sequence is not over yet. That means that the entire pattern here could just be a declining pattern if you zoom out, right? Like on the weekly chart or something. But one of the things I can tell right off the bat is this section right here, which seems to be and looks to be very similar to AMC right now. So this is the accumulation pattern right here. Okay, that's blue. Let's call the little dead cat right here. Okay, blue, check. You guys are kind of starting to see this play out now a little bit. Wait. You guys can't see anything because of this. There we go. There we go, a little bit better. All right, so you guys can kind of see that now, right? You can see what I'm trying to explain here on how phases work. So we can basically check out this entire section up to this point here. And then you see upside. Upside happens very quickly. Typically, it lasts about a month. And if it holds, it'll last a few months. So this section here is extremely bullish and happens, again, very quickly. All of these, they don't have to happen the same way. Like the patterns, and people say like, oh, yo, that doesn't look anything like that. It's a matter of mix and match, man. You have all this volume given to you. Obviously these large institutions that hold the majority of the equity, they are the ones that are forming these phases, right? What they call accumulation, distribution, all that. They're forming this, and then they're able to play with this dollar amount, this giant dollar amount, and mixing these sections with the entire sequence, right? This massive sequence here. So whatever's happening down here could have already happened over here on the chart. It doesn't have to happen the same way. So we're just kind of filling the spots, but I would consider this down here probably some kind of reaccumulation or redistribution pattern. So we do that, and we label that like purple again, right? The purple is just accumulation or distribution. Okay, we have, you can kind of see here, accumulation or distribution. And then this is a reaccumulation. And then what do we have, guys? The POI in the end is advancing. That's green. And that happens right here. I'm going to kind of mess with this here a little bit. You guys can take this out. There we go. Okay. So with that, now you can see the NVAX. This is basically the way the NVAX sequence works, but it does not have to look like this on AMC at all. But this is pretty much it, guys. It's just mixing and matching this volume happening in this accumulation period. If you zoom out, this would be considered accumulation because then the price starts to rise. It goes up after that. If it's distribution, this is where it flips. This is why it's very important that AMC starts to climb here, because if it doesn't, okay, this is one form of a phase here that the market makers are making. If it flips, it's going to do this instead. Okay, if it flips, it's going to do this. And then the price falls. Obviously, we're in the negatives here. It's not, I'm just showing you an example. But I can't, there are so many ways, and I can kind of, I want to see if I can prove this to you guys here. Nothing is proved, right? All is speculation. But I have something I tracked with GME for the longest time here. And I actually used the AMC pattern to show this. But here is an example of a phase that flipped, okay? So I'm using the AMC, like an AMC reference pattern for this. Look at how it followed from this point, from May to December. This is just one phase. It seems to be maybe some kind of what looks to be accumulation, right? This looks to be accumulation, and then what happens? It flips. It starts to redistribute. And how do you know that? Well, everything is inverse. Like, look at these gaps, right? The gaps are, dude, this is identical. Like, this is the inverse pattern right here. And look at how it follows that inverse pattern. It's the algorithm here, flip the switch. Flip the switch, everything starts tracking inverse, and then the sequence ends right here. The sequence starts doing something else. So why it's crucial, guys, that I always, when I track these patterns, is just because they're important, man. They're important to track, but it's also very important to acknowledge that, you know, just because something is tracking one way doesn't mean it's going to continue tracking that way. The algorithm loves and loves and loves to flip these. But yeah, here's an example for that, how I'm treating the AMC pattern right now with this sequence here. So yeah, man, let's hope that all goes well with earnings. Yes, I am going to stream I'm not going to stream the earnings call, but I will be streaming the numbers when they come out and seeing how the price action behaves there, and kind of give you guys my input. Now, I'm going to show you guys something else that can potentially happen, and this is tracking. This is also a pretty high possibility with the correlation that I have right now with that. So you guys know that the POIs that we've been tracking, there's the one that starts in, these are all the POIs. The one that starts everything here in November, it's where the price starts to ascend. Okay, the sequence that we've been tracking right now is right here. And it's been tracking to a T. It actually, the levels, everything's been tracking to a T. So let's pull that up. I'll show you guys the scenario for that. Oh, here it is. AMC in 2020. It got moved. So let's scale it again. That's good. Okay, so just so you guys know how I'm taking it here. Here's the start of the POI. Okay, the line's not there, but this is 62 days behind. So that's where we're going to start it off right here in the sequence, 62 days behind, and then we take it down so we can see everything. All right, right here, zoom in. I'd love to do that, man, just because people are always like, yo, did you even take that, bro? Is that even the right pattern? Okay, so with that, look at that. Guys, levels, structure, the same. Everything hit pretty much to a T. So what can happen out of nowhere is, people might be extremely bullish or extremely bearish. What might happen is that the price just kind of goes like this, choppy, and then nothing happens. Honestly, that would be better for me than the price going down. Like, obviously, I think that would be better for everyone than seeing these low numbers again. That will not cancel things out. That will just stall things out, unfortunately. But if the price remains stagnant in that 470 range, say it goes up to 70 or 70 to 7 and then climbs back down like that, what this sequence is telling me is that we might be in the November sequence here. And that kind of checks out a little bit too because of what's happening in the crypto markets right now. If you take a look at Bitcoin, gotta love that price action, right? All right, if you take a look at Bitcoin and see, look at what it was doing back here in November. See how it's climbing up and it's going parabolic. It bottoms in March and then it starts to climb like crazy going into December time. So say that Bitcoin is right here right now and it's just taking a small breather for a continuation. I'm personally bullish on crypto. I don't think it's going to stop. Here's going to be a little Bitcoin lesson here for a sec. Let me see. Actually, it might be on this one. So why I think that might be the case, guys, and when I talk about these correlations, they are to show you guys why we are in this, why we could be in that specific market phase. If we are in November of 2020 right here, and Bitcoin is there as well, you can see it keeps going. It climbs like crazy. I talked about this before. We pulled up the gold. Let's see. We pulled up the gold pattern here a while ago and talked about Bitcoin doing that. And right now, Bitcoin is following this gold pattern pretty much to a T. It's kind of scary how accurate this is. But 1974, I mean, a lot of what's happening right now, guys, this technological advancement, right, and with AI and everything, that was the 80s, man, going into the 80s. And these guys, that's where gold really started to get its boom. The crazy part about all this is that the market cap is the same if you take a look at inflation. If you account inflation into it, this thing peaked at 1.2 trillion, came back down to about that 300 million range, which is the same thing Bitcoin did before it started to climb back up. Guys, we started tracking this pattern right here. Okay, look at what it's done so far. It's not stopping, dude. So think about it this way. What if this is November right here, 2020? And what if this is November 2020? Well, right, we take this entire pattern again, going to the peak. November. And then everybody's like, oh no, the crypto markets are going to fall down, this, and that. Yeah, they can go down to 40 if they want to, but that doesn't mean that it's going to come down to 20 or 10 again. It's likely, man, with this, the way that crypto is moving right now, that it just continues to go and does not leave any room for anybody to get in. So think about it that way. If this is November of 2020, right? November of 2020 is right here with AMC, and it just will take that section right here. Right? If that's November of 2020 and this kind of just curves back down, obviously being that it's a different phase, this thing could definitely keep going. Now, is it going to go at the same pace? Probably not, just because if you take a look at, what just happened now, like if that was November 2020, and you take a look at the low, well, the low doesn't it's quite extended. It's almost like twice as large or twice as big. I mean, look at that. You can even like match the pattern here. Is kind of crazy. So yeah, looking at it like that, guys, is another way to kind of get and narrow down the where the market is in terms of the cycle. November of 2020, high correlation with AMC, with Bitcoin, with crypto, with stocks, just stocks in general. A lot of correlation with November of 2020. So yeah, guys, that is the deal, man. That is key. See. All right, we got about 25 minutes left for earnings. Let's see what happens. I want to see what everybody thinks is going to happen. What do you guys think is going to happen? Drop it in the chat. I'm curious. Thank you, Nana. Thank you. Forgot to say hello. Say hello to the squad. Jojo, Steven, Jesse, Liquid, Roadrunner, Yukon, CFast. What's up? EJ. Hey, another thing, guys. We just crossed resistance. I just saw this today. I think today we just crossed it. We just crossed resistance on the ROC indicator. That's interesting. Okay, we just crossed resistance. Now, immediate cross at resistance doesn't mean, hey, we're going to go up. If this gets shut down tomorrow, like, or something like that, obviously that's with resistance, guys. I mean, you got to treat it like candles, right? You know those wicks, those nasty wicks. It's the same thing. But that's pretty cool. That's pretty interesting. Let's see the last time that happened here. I mean, this is a massive descending channel here since August 2022. This is the last time it crossed in terms of length. Right here, January 2021. That was the cross, and then it obviously went parabolic after that. Trying to see here though. This right here, this little section looks very similar to this. I'm just curious to see what that looks like. No, it's that's the thing about fractals too, guys. Fractals are nice to use for sure, and they definitely, you treat them the same way with trying to, like, I use them more for levels more than anything. I don't really like to use them for narrowing down POIs in time. I like to use one-to-one patterns for that, but Okay. I love the way that it retests this level every time, and every single time it got rejected, except here it did cross. I mean, I don't know if you guys can see that very well, but I'm taking it from the absolute peak here. Here's another example though of treating these with, you know, caution, is that you can see it does retest it very well, but and it did just cross, but if it goes down tomorrow, basically what would happen to this day candle is it would come down here or something. If it goes up, obviously that would be the cross. That's a cross right there. And yeah, I'm using the 250 day. If I change it to something else like 50, it'll give me a different chart. And the levels to track are still pretty relevant. You can see right here, there's a fake out, crosses, comes back down. An example of that, a little fake out. Yeah, the more you use, the more. This is why I love this indicator. Is basically it kind of mimics with the right values, almost mimics a good market cap chart, because the market cap chart, guys, is really what's going to show you what's happening. It ignores the splits. The splits make a chart look weird. Like AMC right now looks weird as heck. Pretty interesting stuff. Okay. Oh yeah, I was gonna show you guys too. If you took a look at what we found with like the meme coin, you know how I told you guys that everything was pumping like crazy, this and that. So I'm gonna take this right here and show you guys why patterns are important. Now I'm not gonna take the whole thing, right? Because AMC was a special case when it went up like this, algorithm broke. I take enough to just track some of the levels. I think the 39 here would suffice for that. But if we take a look at meme coin, I'm tracking this dude here for quite some time now. Look at this. All right, we started tracking this as soon as it fell, man. I saw the pattern. I was like, this is November 2020 right here on AMC. From then on, followed to a T, man. Everything, the curve, everything. Right now, it's right here. And again, I don't think the crypto markets are done. I think that today is just a fake out with what happened with the whole Coinbase thing. I think that's just a fake out, man. And you can see right here, the price continues to rally. This seems to be a fake out, and then everything's going to start to climb back up, especially now that, Bitcoin just hit like crazy levels. So yeah, another sequence, guys, successful sequence right here. We tracked Carvana perfectly last week, calling for upside on earnings with a pattern. I'll show you guys the pattern I used for that. Let's go on Carvana. And I'll show you guys. Here's the contracts that we were tracking the 22nd. And this was the theta channel that I made here prior to it going up. I'll show you guys all the patterns that we were tracking here that were calling for upside. But this was one. I was calling for upside right there. That one. This one right here. Perfect sequence for test, and is currently tracking to a T. Look at that. It hit the first and the second level. So yeah, all these patterns, guys, I'm telling you, good reference tools for stocks, especially if they come from the crypto markets, because they're doing it first. But yeah, crazy stuff. All right, AMC up 2%. Let's go back, see what the deal is. Another one I'm tracking is Ethereum Classic. Now, Ethereum Classics looks pretty nice with its run up. Like we talked about the correlation between the two. Ethereum Classic did do this. Now, this is a fractal of Ethereum Classic. Ethereum Classics did not take a month to develop. This was like a day. So that's not, it's also not something that is like the best to use, right? Fractals, I don't believe fractals are like the best to use. What else, man? You know what I'm seeing right now too, which is kind of crazy. But this right here, starting to see some things, bro. Okay, hold up. What is it? What's the cryptocurrency that's doing this right now? I mean, Pepe has been just killing it, guys. Remember Pepe? We talked about it hitting the 500 million level and then going back up to its highs. It's up there, man. It is up there. This thing did it. Crazy, crazy. You will find these sequences all, like, you can go on like the 5-second chart and find them. Like, it's crazy. I can show you guys a few right here, and this is the sequence I'm looking for. So well, actually, starting from here, the sequence I'm looking for is this. Shut down, that right there. I can tell you guys right now that here's a match. Isn't the algorithm crazy, dude? Look. Interesting. It wasn't Pepe, though, that I was tracking. It was, I mean, it could have been Meme, actually. Yeah, it was. Guys, what's up? Where do you guys think this liquidity is going to go? I'm not specifically going to, like, don't, when I say, like, yo, the crypto markets are pumping, this, and that, all I'm saying is, like, yo, where's this liquidity going? Like, it's pretty interesting that this is happening before AMC earnings, but it also, think about it, I said that before Bed Bath & Beyond released earnings. And then they released earnings, dude, and the thing starts to squeeze. So it's basically saying, hey, this liquidity is probably going to be used somehow in the markets, because you start to see all these stock squeeze after that. I mean, dude. Okay, here it is. Here's an example of what could be an inverse POI. I think that's a good way to kind of treat this here. Inverse POI. Use that. 15 seconds. Here would be the inverse. So as soon as you see the volume, that is POI worthy, and you can clearly see it. I mean, this works even on the micro sequences. Crazy stuff. So here's a good example of that. See right there. Here's one, and if you clone it, you flip it. then this would become an inverse POI. Because what happens, why we narrow, like this is how we get the POIs, guys. You can see it on a cryptocurrency. We're using the 15-second chart. This is where the POI hits, and then this is where the POI is on AMC. And it flips. It goes the other way. Crazy. Hmm. That's right here, too. That would be nice. So here's the accumulation period for some of these stocks or cryptocurrencies that fell. All right, Pepe goes down to the 6, and then it starts to climb up right here. Huh. That's pretty interesting, though. This definitely looks. It's not flat, but you guys can. I mean, if you guys can kind of see this structure right here, it's pretty interesting too. It the accumulation structure down here is like a low projector. Boom. All right. Earnings is coming up in 8 minutes. I don't know what time they're gonna post it, guys, but here, let's just kind of get the chart ready. Look at that. AMC kind of pumping a little bit here. When I get intimate here with the chart, we'll go on the 5 second. Oh my god, it looks so like it's barcoding. You know what? I might use this for now, just because. Yeah, you probably see things a little bit better. All right. Let's see. I'm going to look up what time because some companies release earnings like 30 minutes after, or hopefully AMC is right away, though. If you guys know the time, let me know at what time they're releasing the earnings, not the call. I mean, guys, even like Doge is pumping too. Like it's just to show you guys that like the meme stocks that are pumping, like basically right before the markets want to take like a small breather. Uh, and it's funny that most of the news, like the media, is pushing out like some really weird stuff. Obviously, just to kind of get in your head. I mean, it's all over the place. Is the thing. It's like it's crazy. Even like the let's see. This looks pretty good to me. Like the chart right now looks pretty parabolic. I mean, like, okay, maybe I should use candles because it's starting to tweak now. This is respect. Like this right here is a parabolic arc in the making. And whether I mean, guys, technicals don't necessarily matter that much going into earnings. Like that's just I think everybody knows that, but I just want to point that out. This is an arc, and then this is that the parabolic in action. Pretty interesting to see. Interesting. Okay, let's see what time. Anybody know what time? Do we think it's gonna come out right away, or anybody know what time the? You guys, 2 minutes left. Should probably turn the volume down before the market closes. Look at all that volume coming in. There we go. I think that'll be a little bit better. So tracking. All right, guys. 30 seconds. What's going to happen? I'm hoping it's like right after the market closes and see what goes down here. Hey, AMC did close at 5. Okay. As soon as I get the update, guys, here on that, I'll let you guys know. Might or might not be reflected on the price action, but we'll see. All right. I don't see anything yet. Maybe, I mean, it could be like a later report, maybe at 4:15 or 4:20. Sometimes they do that, 4:20 or 3:20. Uh, you guys might get it before me, so as soon as you know, just drop it in the chat, please, or send me a link or something. But I keep reloading here just to see. All right. Nothing yet. Nothing yet. All right, a few things I will be kind of just. I mean, here's on the micro. Here's resistance. Here's a little parabolic setup I'm talking about, though. So, a little support right there. And then here's our next level of support. The thing about parabolic arcs is that every time they establish new support, it is slightly more inclined on the next angle, the next support trend line. Okay, cool. But yes, you are right, man. This probably doesn't matter for earnings reason. Like I said, technicals are pretty much thrown out the window for earnings. I just like to draw these in just to see the overall structure of the chart. right now. And obviously that changes too on every time frame. Like on the minute, you can clearly see that these are being respected very well, but they change on the 15, on the 5. All right, nothing out yet. Might be waiting till 4:15. Oh, I don't know if that's out yet. Okay, we're just seeing some pretty big wicks. I'm not sure it's out yet, though. Here, I gotta show you guys the. We check extended hour. Whoa, whoa, whoa. It doesn't show the extended hour percentage. Okay. Well, it's down right now about 2%. Let me see. Did it come out? We'll not be looking at the price until the report comes out, guys. If the report hasn't came out yet, this doesn't mean anything. So down negative 2%. I still don't see anything. Potential fake out, yeah. We've seen those happen before. Same thing happened with Carvana, actually. Carvana fell down first before going up. All right, we're starting to see it kind of pick back up a little bit. Yeah, let's go on the micro, bro. Very little volume. Actually, let's put the volume here too. 3 o'clock candle. Yeah. I want to see what's going on, man. All right, what are they waiting for, dude? What are they waiting for? Oh, is it 4:15? Is that confirmed? If it's 4:15, then yeah, we still got a little bit of time. What's the title of the song? It's quiet, man. It's quiet up in here. We want to get intimate with Amy before volatility kicks in. Usually 50 minutes after bell. That's what I was thinking too, man. I don't see a clear number on when it's going to come out. But yeah, if not, then I'd say on that 15-minute mark. All right, we got some peeps coming in. Welcome, welcome to the show. To the waiting show, man. We're just waiting it up in here. For the next show. You guys remember that song? Yeah, crickets for sure. It is quiet, man. I got noise canceling headphones too, so it's really quiet. Can't hear anything. Yeah, smash that like if you can. Get as many peeps up in here. You already know how the algorithm works. The market algorithm and the tube algorithm. It loves those likes, man. Now I've seen all these memes now on Twitter or X, waiting for AMC earnings, like a bunch of memes. Gotta like the memes, man. The memes, bro. It's meme time. We need that report to come out. I think that's going to be the most. Well, it goes both ways, guys. We can get whatever price action with the earnings report, and then whatever Adam says on the earnings call can be a factor too on whether the price goes up or down. Most of the time, though, it happens when the numbers come out. Like rarely do you see anything happen the other way around. There's just so much volume in the beginning. That's a huge factor. I agree with that. It is. I'm looking at I'm looking at Weeble too, but that's what we got right here, man. But even Weebles too is very choppy. It's like, and you know what? I have the wrong. Yeah, no, I should probably leave that on. Haikanashi. How you say it? Haikanashi. Haikanashi. These are nice. They're just so pretty. Get some wicks on them. Make them a little more realistic. Okay, okay. We got about a minute left for the 15. Here, let's do a countdown or something. Where is it? There we go. Why is there no countdown bar? Countdown bar to close. Oh, I'm on the 1 second. That's why. There we go. No, it's still not showing up. Okay. Okay. Wait. Did it come out? Bro, I still don't see anything. What is going on here? It's just stalling forever. Okay. Yeah, it's taking a while. It's taking a while for them to release earnings. It might be like Nvidia. It's at 420, I believe, at 420 when they released earnings. So might be another 5 minutes, guys. Right now, it's just I'd consider this just fake price action. Just anticipation for whatever is coming. Usually, when the price is going down before the earnings report, usually that's a good sign because it's like kind of like the Fed minutes. You get the fake out before the breakout, the fake out before the breakout. So this might be good. Not everybody trades options, so you know, maybe somebody wants 485. The earnings call I think is at 4 p.m., but what we're waiting for is the earnings report. Which has not come out yet for some reason. Yep. And it normally doesn't take this long either. It's usually out by in the first 5 minutes. Okay, maybe it's out. Maybe it's out. Let's see. Spam the chat, guys, if you know it's out. Oh, here it is. It's out. Unusual Whales just posted. It says, okay, this is real. I'll show you guys this real quick. Apparently, it is posted. Here it is. Don't quote me on this. I just saw it on Twitter. Total revenue grew to 23%. Okay. Net loss improved. Okay. Improvement. This is a full year summary. Fourth quarter, it grew, improved. I've seen some good things. Price action still hasn't really reflected on that. Let's see. See what else. Hopefully this is not like one of those fake reports. or something, right? Unusual whales. I mean, it's happened before, man, with like crypto and stuff. They did beat. Yeah, they beat. So yeah, and guys, like always, man, macro fundamentals are very important. Micro fundamentals is like the way we split it is like this normally doesn't matter that much, as we saw yesterday with Bed Bath and Beyond with Beyond Meat. Beyond Meat posted terrible earnings and still went up. So again, micro fundamentals meaning short term fake outs. We've seen fake outs happen all the time with AMC. So whatever is happening right now might just be I mean, it's AMC's not really down. It's not really down that much. This was another thing I was talking about. With it might come down to what Adam Aaron says. Might be one of those earnings. Might be one of those earnings. One of the things I had said, I'm going to pull this up real quick, guys, just because we haven't seen anything crazy happen, unless there's another catalyst coming soon. But I want to show you guys the November sequence that we tracked. And this was one of the outcomes here on, I might be speaking too early, right? I know it just came out, but one of the outcomes was that the price just remained flat. It remained sideways. That's a possibility, but that does give AMC at least an opportunity here, I think, still to hold and continue to rise even after earnings. So that's still a good sign, in my opinion, even if the price just remains flat. But hopefully it doesn't, and we get some good news from Adam Aaron. I mean, hopefully the guy says something that we want to hear, and the price, yeah, man, the price goes up, right? So far it is down. It's down 6%, but it just came down to the lows of today. Okay, ooh. Why is it moving now all of a sudden? Okay, so now it's moving to 450. Okay, let me get the candles in here. Huh. Am I missing something? It reported 4 minutes ago, and then now we have a downward surge, down negative 14%. Why? Okay. All right, very important, guys. And like I said, we talked about this on the entire video. If you go back to the beginning, it's very important that, and this is just the analysis that I do here on Amy, but I personally would not like to see it come down here. I think it does become just a very, very hard at these levels. I do not want it to come down here. I personally, right now, I know it's down 15%, but there are some stocks, man, that just trade within that up 10%, down 10%, up 5%, down 15%. I mean, they're trading very choppy on the way up. So it could be the case for Amy. It's also might be too early to tell. A lot of stocks dump like this, and then they turn around in the earnings right after the earnings report. So hopefully we get a little turnaround here. This might be a bottom. Already up negative 12%. I'm hoping that it does hold this range. Look at that. Okay. Some wicks coming back. Okay. I see you, Amy. Oh. Amy might just do a 180, bro. I mean, that 10% move, guys. in not even a minute. Okay, that is not bad. Oh, 15. No, 12.5. Dude. All right, let's see what happens here. Let's see what happens here. I mean, it's doing a Yui. Doing a Yui, man. Looking a lot like Carvana. Carvana did the same thing. It dumped, and then it went up like crazy after. Wow, guys, that's a nice reversal right there. A V reversal, classic V reversal, is coming up to resistance. So right now we are sitting at descending resistance. So we want to see a cross here, back up. That would be a V reversal, even if it's like this, man. I mean, as long as it comes back up to that 485, I think it should keep going. Definitely volatility, though. Definitely volatility. Is Will Smith slapping the ask? Maybe. We got to get him up here, right? We got to get Will Smith and the price action back up in here. Okay, let's see. This is definitely an interesting setup right now, guys. I like that it did not. I like that it's not going lower than the bottom here at 411. It's 411 was the bottom. And right now, it's retesting this high here. So a few things can happen at this point, but this could be just a very quick fake out. Price starts to break out here in the short term. We wait for earnings, maybe the webcast. Maybe there's something there that is the algorithm is anticipating. You already know how that works. But I'm loving this reversal. I mean, if you guys, this is what I want to like kind of mention here real quick. So if earnings are bad and like you're going to see them hold, okay? You're not going to see like choppiness like that. Like if you take a look at what happened with Snapchat, it's just a prime example of that. Prime. Look at how look at the fake out for one. I'm on the 1 minute, right? If I go on the 1 minute here, same thing. It happens very quickly. It's very drastic, and you don't see any kind of upside. Like it goes straight down. It takes about 10 minutes to complete. This went straight down and back up, basically 15% or 12%, 12.5%. So yeah, that's some good stuff. That's some good stuff. Yeah, I mean it beat. So like I said, guys, micro fundamentals don't matter as much as macro. Very important to know that. Let's see, go on the hourly rate here. Look at that wick, guys. Look at that wick that is just hanging. Might be one of those like would love to see here like on the 30-minute or something here in the next 2 minutes, just this fully reverse. Just like leave the wick, man. And look at that. It'll be like, you know what? We'll leave the wick. We'll respect support and we'll just keep climbing up. A nice little fake out. Guys, crypto markets are known for this. Crypto markets have a lot of meme cryptocurrencies like Pepe, meme coin. The amount of times I have seen them just liquidate positions, you're going to see this. You're going to see a massive wick just hanging and the price turn around. I mean, this looks like a classic liquidity grab, like they're just coming to liquidate, boom, before turning around. Look at that. All right, all right. I see you, Amy. All right, so hopefully that holds, right? Hopefully that holds. 330. Amy, can we get a little turnaround, please? Alrighty. Okay, so a lot of the volume kind of drying out a little bit here. We're just kind of stuck in that, it seemed like negative 9% range right now. For those coming in, I think what's going to happen here is a few things. I think the bottom is most likely in, at least for this call, going into the end of the trading day. I think that's probably the more likely scenario, just considering that the price just flew back up to 12%. So it's not easy to do that. And when you do that, typically you want to stick in a range and accumulate or redistribute, right? If it redistributes, then you are going to see probably a retest back at support. But even then, unless there's a major catalyst that comes out in the web's cast or something, I don't see the price going further. I just see it kind of trading choppy in this range until it, crosses resistance. And that's more of the neutral projection here. The bullish projection is that we do have a bullish catalyst and the price starts to surge during, or if something comes out, maybe even before the webcast. Sometimes they do that with earnings. So that would be the only other case here is we cross resistance, we start heading back up to 5, and the price continues to surge. We have a massive just V reversal. V reversals are very bullish, so as long as we come back and retest 5, we should see a continuation, a pretty hefty one. That would be the bullish case, guys. That is what I kind of just projecting based on the webcast is that, well, we'll see which one happens first. But, yeah, man, I would love to see this just cross 475 would be ideal. You can see it's just keeps testing it, man. It keeps testing it. Let's get a little moving average in here. Oh, I forgot to look at changes. Let's see what changes did on the hourly here. Okay, make sure the inputs are right, which they're not. Oh, okay. So what changes, it seems like we just came down to retest support. This is another bullish thing, is we're respecting this bullish or like this ascending channel from, I think, starting from November. Here it's just been respecting this trend line, just narrowing down. This indicator, guys, measures the rate of change, so it's really good at letting you know when the markets are ready to pull back or potentially keep going. We tracking this on the daily chart. I mean, look at this just for reference here, but we're tracking this descending trend line right now, which did break today. Let's see. Is it on the daily? No, it was in, we're using the 250 on the daily chart. And this one's going to give us this descending channel right here that did break or is about to. I might have used no, I did use this one. Yeah. It's right here. You can see on that daily close, look at that. We're just like riding it. We haven't crossed it yet. And we'll see what happens here with earnings, but that is a retest at resistance. So a full break here could mean a push. Ooh, okay. Amy. Need a little inverse arc setup right here, man. I need this to do that. I think we're going to find out very soon where the price is going to go, guys. We are just riding and retesting resistance here. So a break below, like I said, will likely mean maybe like a wedge setup where it comes down and just kind of trades in this range and then decides, whatever it wants to do after the call, or a break, hopefully a break. It looks like here on maybe the next 2 minutes, we'll find out. Oh, okay, a little break. Hopefully it's not a fake out. How much volume do we have? The thing is, this is NYSE. I mean, yeah, it should be telling me the right amount of volume. Let's see, trading. Why is it not showing that, dude? Oh. 900. So, something's up here. Okay, 1,000. That's nothing. Right here is where most of the volume came in. But even that, I don't think this is correct, guys. Let me see. Yeah, that's not correct. 73. Is that correct? No. All right, AMC's climbing up though. It's climbing back up. Okay. I mean, yeah, this would be a nice little reversal. Okay, guys. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be streaming the webcast today. There are some other streamers that are going to be streaming it. If you guys want to take a look at that. I was here for mostly macro analysis, like I talked about with the financials of AMC. I think it matters on the macro, and we did get some decent numbers. I think clearly the price is not coming down to low levels, so that's a really good sign. I think that's step one. I do want to say and kind of go over some things here just based on what I just saw and what I'm expecting to happen in the next few days. But I do think that, well, this definitely looks more bullish than bearish, in my opinion. I think if we were going to have a bearish earnings call and something that would completely destroy AMC or something, we would have seen probably lower levels below this 350 range. So the fact that we're not there right now, and on this closing wick here, even on the 30-minute chart, you can see we are respecting support. I think that's a really good sign. So I want to talk about what I think is going to happen next based on that, because it goes two ways, right? You either get a extreme price action, it starts to climb back up, which is not canceled yet. We'll see what happens with Adam Aaron, and I'll post a video after that. But I'm just going based off of if the price remains flat. I just want to show you guys what this means for AMC and the price action. So right now on the cycle, we are tracking the AMC sequence that happened in November of 2020. I already compared and talked about the Bitcoin correlation with that time frame. And I want to pull that up here so I can show you guys. Basically, what this is saying is that the price remains in a pretty stagnant, at least going up to the next volatility zone that we're tracking. And like I said, volatility zones they're not meant to, we're going to track and predict the price to go and squeeze. They're just opportunities. Normally the correlation says that is where AMC tends to go up or tends to go down. So in that, if the price does remain stagnant and is flat, and we're following the November sequence, up to this point, any AMC could do anything, right? Things could flip right here. They could start looking more bullish. AMC could start to head back up and get ready, maybe even retest that $7-8 range by next month, and then start to climb back up to the next POI. This is not calling for $20, so not looking at the price for that. I want to just make sure that is heard. A lot of misconceptions with the way the cycle here works on that. Not calling for anything crazy here on that. We need to retest resistance first, whether that happens in the next few days or the next few weeks. But I am happy that the price is not down here. Okay, it's one of the things that I talked about like crazy. It's like we cannot cross this range down here. So that's a good sign. That's good step one. So another thing to watch out for after earnings, say that it remains flat, and these guys successfully just crush contracts and stuff. I think a lot of that's typically how some earnings work, right? It's neither bulls or bears kind of win here. It just kind of remains flat. They do that a lot, man. But the trajectory is what's important. I'm going to show you guys one pattern that I pulled up earlier. I know there's a lot more of you here, but this right here is Carvana. You guys saw the Carvana sequence that we tracked. Okay, Carvana did this back in 2020. It literally went from 370 down to $3.50. The AMC did something similar. Obviously, it had that split, so it was a little bit heftier, more dilution. But just looking at percentage-wise, the shorts were able to bring the price down 1,000%, right? It's different than long. Like if you were to go long down here and it went up to 300, equivalent to a shorting it at the peak and then covering right here. So this is just saying, hey, we're exiting a accumulation channel or a distribution channel. We're heading on to accumulation, and we are building a trajectory channel. Trajectory channels, okay, however they may look, typically involve, and with Carvana, we did this already. It's currently trading at the $80 range, but trajectory channels are very important to know whether the price is bearish or bullish. Right now, we don't know because the price is at a standstill. I mean, we're just trading sideways. We need to see it come up and retest. I keep saying that because we need to see that first before the price is bullish right now. So we'll see what happens, guys, with the earnings call. Again, I won't be streaming it. I just kind of wanted to cover that based on that. If you want to see everything else in the analysis we did, just rewind the video. Make sure you guys subscribe too. We'll be posting a video after the earnings call, probably either tomorrow or later today, for you guys to kind of cover everything and go from there. As always, guys, thank you for coming in. Love you guys. Subscribe. All right. All right. Peace out, guys.